Boy, it's been a fun week for animation circles this week. Now, as you can tell from the title, I'm going to be complaining about the new She-Ra cartoon, but I'm also going to be using that as something of a springboard for one of the biggest defenses in this that finally drove me mad. Or at least She-Ra's use of this defense drove me mad about this defense. Now, first, the issues with She-Ra and this cartoon. And I'm going to be slightly different than most people that are complaining about it because overall, the actual look of it, it does look like they are attempting to make this more of an action series than the other CalArts style action series that have been out recently. I hate the Thundercats roar has been the absolute worst thing ever because when I look at something like She-Ra, I'm like, well, at least it's not Thundercats roar. But it's not just that. It's not just that Thundercats roar exists, ergo She-Ra is better. They are actually trying to make the characters look human-ish, which I think will translate to better action scenes. Because we haven't seen She-Ra in motion yet, this is assumption and hope. Whereas we have seen Thundercats in motion, and the biggest issue with She-Ra, though, is that it is done in the CalArts style, or it's at least a symptom of the CalArts style. And what people kind of understand, but kind of don't at the same time, is that CalArts isn't really a style per se. Now, I'm going to break away for a couple minutes here to talk about this. It is something of a style, or it has become a style, but what the California Institute of Arts teaches is sort of a simplicity base guideline thing. I mean, hell, the people from Pixar are pretty much all CalArts graduates. All the old guard, all the established experts at Pixar are from CalArts. That's one of the recurring themes in their movies. They will have the old art room number that they all came from. And they are all from that same group. So you look at something like Pixar, and you wouldn't say, oh, that's CalArts style. Here's the big issue why. The old guard that came from CalArts, they knew that what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to use what they teach at CalArts as a base, and then you're supposed to build on top of that. What my generation seems to be doing is, and I'm not sure if this is from laziness or stupidity on our part, but my generation seems to be just taking what they learned from CalArts and just using that. Period. Nothing else. They're not adding any sort of flavor, any style, any artistic creativity to it. They are just using the base, flat guideline that they learned from CalArts. And this is, She-Ra is a prime example of why that doesn't work. Because the reason the people have been complaining about the way She-Ra looks is not because, oh, they can't jerk off to her. It's because there is no detail. She just looks like a basic generic human. That's it. You have no detail. You have no indicators at all of what this character is, other than long hair. There was a side-by-side comparison done of She-Ra with the long golden hair and She-Ra with short brown hair, and yeah, the short brown hair one looks like a guy. This is the problem with CalArts. It is so simple, so bland, so generic. There are no details at all. Hell, I saw someone who did a side-by-side of the original version and then a version that they had improved upon. And it looks the improved version looks so much better, and all that the improved version did was shading! That's it. They bolden the lines, they shade it a little bit. Boom, there you go. You could get so much more detail out of just that. And that's the problem that I have with people using CalArts for already established series. These series have a specific look, a specific detail, a specific style, and then you just use this bland generic thing that you try to copy paste onto everything else, and it doesn't work. That's what I complained about before with Thundercats Roar, is that the CalArts style that my generation has basically developed from just using the CalArts school teachings and nothing else doesn't work for anything that's already been made. And that is the biggest complaint that people have had with regards to She-Ra. That's why they keep saying she looks like a guy, because there's nothing there to say that this is a girl or a guy. And don't give me the, oh, she's a teenager, teenagers look like this. No, they don't. What world have you been in where teenage boys and teenage girls looked exactly the same, short of hair? That doesn't happen in any world. Now, the main crux of my complaint about this is that the biggest defense that's been used with She-Ra has been the, well, it's not made for you, so you have no right to complain argument or defense. And hearing it so many times with this one finally drove me up a wall. And that's, I mean, I'm mostly on the side of the creators here. Other than saying it looks so bland, I see why people think She-Ra's a guy. But this excuse has been used to death over and over again, and I just can't take it anymore. I've never understood this defense. Something isn't made for you. So because I'm not the target demographic, I have no right to critique it. I have no right to say if it's bad or good, for that matter. I never hear this used when people are saying something good, but they aren't the target demographic. I wonder why that is. Does that mean I have no right to review it if I'm not the target demographic? To which I would like to say, that basically means that reviewers shouldn't exist, because reviewers are never the target demographic for anything that's made. Oh, it's not made for you. It's made for little kids. I'm going to bring out my Disney quote yet again. At this point, I think that I should get paid for this. If you aim for just children, you're dead. Adults are just children that have physically grown up. Walt Disney. Why do people not grasp this? Animation is not just for kids. Just because someone is an adult, that doesn't mean that they can't like animation. My Little Pony, for example, or at least the modern version of it that was made by Lauren Faust, my apologies. The reason that a lot of people like that, a lot of adults like that, is because a lot of them grew up with the stuff that Lauren Faust has made before. And this was another series that she did that was really good. That's how it got a lot of its adult audience that they were never expecting. And it's the adult audience that has carried that show for years. It would not exist right now, or have existed as long as it has, if it weren't for that adult audience that they never expected, that they never made the show for. I want to like She-Ra. I want to see it in motion, first of all, but I want to like this because I grew up with the original properties. And I liked them because they were so campy and goofy. They were fun. And I want to see something of a serious retake, a more action-oriented retake. Like how He-Man had the Masters of the Universe series back in 2002, 2003 as sort of a serious action series based off the goofy, campy 80s series. That was really well done. I want She-Ra, this new series, to be like that for the original She-Ra. And I would like to believe that it will be. It's not made for you, so you can't enjoy it. Bullshit. If it weren't for the adults that bought the products, then a lot of these shows wouldn't exist in the first place. Just because the original series were made with the idea of selling toys in mind. He-Man, Transformers, She-Ra, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joe, you get the idea. Those 80s shows, that doesn't mean that they were bad and that anything that you do now is good. Just because they sold toys doesn't mean they were automatically bad. It just means that that was what the idea was, that they were there to sell toys, but they had to make themselves appealing in some way in order to be able to sell toys. That seems to be something people forget. And it's the parents that would buy the toys. So adults needed to like it as well as the kids. Ha! Weird how that works, isn't it? Because if the parent doesn't like the series, they will not buy the thing for their kids. So that just breaks apart the whole "it's not made with you in mind" thing right from the get-go. And this series, it's probably not made with the idea that it's going to sell toys. I am almost 100% sure that there are no toy sale thoughts in mind with this. I'm not saying the toy sale thing in regard to this. It was just for the 80s show. This one, I think it's made for what the original She-Ra series was made for, with elementary to junior high, maybe early high school girls in mind. Something that they could see as a power fantasy for themselves, like how boys saw He-Man as a power fantasy for them. And that's great. I got no problem with that. That doesn't mean I, as a guy, can't like it too. I've enjoyed a lot of animation that was not made with me in mind. Just because something is made for one group doesn't mean no one else could enjoy it, which is another thing that makes me laugh, because the people who are saying it's not made for you right now are also the people that say everything should be inclusive, everything should be made with everyone in mind, and if you don't do that, you're a ist or ism of some kind. Kind of funny how that works when it's something that they're making or with them in mind, that they get all ultra restrictive, isn't it? The idea that something isn't made for you, so you have no right to say anything about it, is stupid. And it really needs to die. Especially when we're talking about reboots or continuations or whatever. What kind of moron doesn't think that the original audience will want to see the reboot or the continuation? Ghostbusters, the Samurai Jack continuation, this new She-Ra cartoon, the Thundercats Roar. Why is it time and time again, except for with Samurai Jack actually respected its original audience, and that's the key difference here. Why is it that so many of these shows that are reboots or continuations of original shows Don't expect the original audience to watch or act like the original audience shouldn't watch. I don't get it. You're making something that people grew up with, that they really enjoyed, that they want to continue to enjoy. Teen Titans Go, Star Wars are another couple of examples. Why should people that are older now not like a new version of that thing? Why should they have absolutely no right to say, I don't like this, this doesn't look good? If it was something original, then yeah, you have that at least holds some ground. But these are remakes, redesigns, continuations, whatever, of old existing properties that people liked, that people grew up with. Of course they want to like the new version. What kind of idiot doesn't expect that? And what kind of idiot shits on them for wanting to like it? That seems so counterintuitive to me. I just don't understand this mentality. That we are so, that the creators of my generation are so lost on ideas that they can't think of anything, that they have to take already existing stuff and then shit on the original fans of the original version. No one is saying that something, if it's a reboot or a remake, has to be a one-to-one. They just want to enjoy it like they enjoyed the original version. That's not wrong. They're not wrong for wanting to do that. You're wrong for thinking that they have no right to want to enjoy something that is a new version of the thing that they liked before. Do you get it? I hope that someone will see this and they'll finally figure it out. I doubt it, but maybe, just maybe, something will finally get through and they'll realize why people get upset. And it's not because they hate women. This has been Math Machine. Math Machine. I'm losing my mind. Ha! Peace out.